What's up, guys? I'm back again after taking another extended break. But you know, the NBA Finals are on, and I had to watch them, and I couldn't make a video about the NBA Finals if it was still going on, and you know how it goes, just being inconsistent. Sorry about that. Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna apologize. You guys deserve better than that. You guys deserve better than just uploading once every couple weeks. I really try to push myself to grind to make these videos, but hey man, it happens. But yeah, the NBA Finals are now over. The NBA season is now over, unfortunately. So now we have to go all the way until October until we get another NBA game. The NBA Finals were a little up and down this year, especially as a Warriors fan, and I will get into those topics in a second. But first and foremost, congratulations to the Toronto Raptors as an organization for clinching their very first NBA title in franchise history. It's a big accomplishment, to be honest, when you get your first championship, and for a team like the Raptors, who have struggled a lot over the last few years to even make it to the finals, with the likes of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, who led the team for many, many years, but just unfortunately couldn't get it done. But for the Raptors and for Kawhi Leonard, congratulations on winning your second NBA championship MVP, only person to do it in two different conferences, and the third person apart from LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to win it for two different teams. So congratulations on that. Not that you'll ever see this video, but for the Raptors fans out there, congratulations to you guys. Take this in. It's an amazing moment as a sports fan to be rooting for your team for so long, and you finally get to the mountaintop and you try your hardest to stay there. Just embrace it, take it in. It's an amazing moment, guys. If you're a Raptors fan and you're celebrating this championship, take it in as much as possible. Don't take it for granted, because you don't really know when it's going to be your last. And the reason I say that is because, you know, teams change from year to year, and Kawhi Leonard is somebody who's going to be testing free agency. And hopefully, if you guys can retain him for another few years, he could possibly lead you guys back to more championships. So, in the case that it doesn't happen and he decides to leave elsewhere, I mean, guys, you didn't tell me my hair was this bad. Oh my goodness. Alright, I don't think it made much of a difference, but whatever. Now for the series itself, of course, the Raptors, congratulations again for winning your first championship. For the Warriors, my Warrior fans, it's heartbreak right now, guys. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you know what? I mean, we dealt through some adversity. So for my Warriors fans, unfortunately, we know how this feels to lose in our own home court. This is the second time it's happened to us. We're the only team in NBA history to blow a 3-1 lead, and unfortunately we couldn't get it done in Oracle this time, guys. The Oracle lights will never shine again. Unfortunately, we are moving to the Chase Center the next year. We just couldn't get it done. We lost every single home game in the finals this year, and to win an NBA Finals, you have to win your home games. You have to defend home court, and we just couldn't do that. And I mean, yeah, we had a whole lot of other circumstances go against us, but all the credit to Toronto. They game planned perfectly. Their role players stepped to the plate. Their coaches were amazing. There was some times where I was thinking to ourselves, like, we are getting severely outcoached at the moment. Kawhi Leonard's just a beast of an athlete. This guy is ridiculous. He can take the team on his back and say, you know what, I will guide you guys. And that's something that I talked about in my last video, which I will leave an annotation for right here. Experience. The experience factor was huge for the Raptors. Now, only having two players that had ever made it to the finals at that point, but Kawhi Leonard being one of those players is pretty huge. And credit to them. They capitalized on their opportunities. I mean, they won their first championship on the back of the Warriors, being down rotation-wise. And I mean, the Warriors did the same thing a few years ago. Remember when we won our first championship, we got really, really fortunate that the Cavaliers lost Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love before they even made it to the finals. So for us to be saying that, you know what, they only beat us because we didn't have our full strength, I mean, we kind of did the same thing a few years ago. So it goes both ways. You can't really be that fan that said, oh yeah, we deserve to win that championship back then because we were the better team. But I mean, were we really at that time? And with the Raptors, they still had to win games. Even if the Warriors had an injured rotation, you know what? You still have to show up and win games. And they did that. They won the games that needed to be won. They showed up, they showed out, and that's why they're walking home with the Larry O'Brien trophy. Now, with these injuries, of course, they were the biggest talking points throughout this whole series. I mean, Kevin Durant missed a whole month with that calf strain, and unfortunately, the first game he comes back, he tears his Achilles. I mean, like, just completely ruptured it. If you guys haven't seen the clip, I'll leave like a little clip right here of what it looks like, and unfortunately I will tell you guys it's a little gruesome. If you're a little squeamish, I would recommend looking away, but to lose Kevin Durant is something rough. Fortunately, we still won that game, but in the long run, I mean, it was kind of a hollow victory, to be honest with you guys. Yeah, we won that game, but we lost the series and we lost Kevin Durant. Also, Klay Thompson, unfortunately, missed some time due to injuries. I mean, he pulled his hamstring in Game 2, missed Game 3 in Oracle, comes back Game 4, luckily looking pretty healthy. And then Game 6, it just all goes bad. He gets undercut slightly and just lands awkwardly, unfortunately tears his ACL, leaving us out 2 Warriors. And Kevon Looney, all credit to you, man. Kevon Looney was one of those guys coming to the season that had a lot to prove. He bet on himself throughout this whole year, said, you know what, I will take a 1-year deal to stay with the Warriors, and I will show you guys that I deserve to be here and I deserve more money. Which, honestly, I do believe he does deserve more money, but being the Warriors and our salary cap is stretched pretty thin at this point, to get an extension for Kevon Looney, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's the money he's going to be getting. But this guy was the definition of a Warrior. Getting taken out in the middle of Game 3 with a broken rib, guys. A broken rib. And misses a game and is in doubt for the rest of the series. And people thinking, you know what, he's not going to come back. Misses a game and he's right back in there. I mean, through pain at all. You could see it in his face with the whole series that this guy was hurting. Like, he could not walk sometimes. He could barely run. He could barely lift up his arm. But he was there, and he was even in our starting rotation for Game 6. So for him to do that, my hat's off to you, Kevon. I'm not actually going to take it off, though. My hair is a mess. But, yeah, Kevon Looney, dude, you are the definition of a true Warrior. Same thing with Klay Thompson again. With that torn ACL, runs back onto the court, takes his free throws because they told him, you know what, if you are okay and you don't take these free throws, you can't come back. So he said, screw it. Ran straight back into the court, hit those 2 free throws, Kobe-esque when he tore his Achilles. And you know what? Hey, man, that's fight. That's determination right there. And then walked back, well, limped back to the locker room and called it a day, unfortunately. But, hey, man, he was having a game. 30 points up to that point. He was having a Game 6 Klay moment. It's just unfortunate, guys. I mean, as an athlete myself, like, when you see stuff like this happen, you really do feel for these guys, because this 5-year stretch, they've played over 100 games a season, and it's just ridiculous. The wear and tear on these guys' bodies sometimes, it's just too much. And I understand completely where they're coming from when they say, you know what, I'm healthy, I want to be out there, I could play, because you feel like your body can take it. And it's just those awkward falls or those awkward push-offs or just little ticky-tack things that you do that could end up like this, unfortunately. You could end up with a torn ACL, you can end up with a ruptured Achilles or a broken rib, and it's unfortunate because these guys prepare the whole season for moments like this, and I don't want to say their body let them down, but it just catches up to you at a certain point. I mean, the Warriors have been to a finals 5 straight years, playing over almost 100 games a season, and it's rough, guys. It's very rough on your body. Now that I'm done talking about these injuries and I'm done talking about well, I'm not even done talking about the series. The series was great, guys. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was very intense. It was everything the series kind of wanted it to be. Yeah, you would really want both teams to be at full health to really show out who was the best team on a full healthy squad. I mean, the Warriors had to stretch their bench pretty thin when we were at the point where we were even playing Jordan Bell for a certain amount of minutes. We were playing Quinn Cook as much as we could. We were playing Fonzo McKinney. We were playing Andrew Bogut. We were even playing Jerebko at some points. I mean, that's how thin we were stretched because, you know what, we needed the rotation. And the Raptors only sticking to 7 to 8 guys a game. Those guys with Nick Nurse, they came up pretty clutch for their team and for their city. And that's the thing with Toronto, guys. They're not just representing Toronto itself. They are representing a whole country. They are representing Canada. Think about that. You're the Golden State Warriors. You have 98% of the U.S. rooting against you already as it is, and now you have to go up against mighty Canada. Think about it. It's pretty crazy. You're the Toronto Raptors, and you have moments like this where you have a whole country behind you. It's definitely a pressure situation, but they stepped up to the plate and they did the best that they could with their abilities. Congratulations again to you guys. I mean, you guys honestly do deserve it, and it does make me happy that a new team does win a championship. Yeah, it sucks because it's against the Warriors, but think about it, guys. Like, what people find boring is that the same team wins over and over. Like in football, you don't want the Patriots to win over and over again, but they're just that good. In basketball, yeah, the Warriors win every year, and I'm happy to see that. At the same time, I do like a little diversity when it comes to championship winning. In baseball, I mean, it's always the same team. It's like the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees. Yeah, it's a little boring because you know they're going to be there every year, but when you see that one team just break through and then you're just like they win a championship, it's kind of something you would root for. Then if it wasn't for the Raptors playing against the Warriors, I would definitely be rooting for them because they have some guys on their team that have gone through this league for so long without winning a championship. For example, like Marc Gasol. I mean, that guy was well overdue for winning a championship, and I know he stayed in Memphis for a pretty long time and hoping something happened there, but to be honest, this guy deserves a championship. And like, for example, like a guy like Jeremy Lin, to win a championship in Oakland after he was a Warrior for a short period of time. I mean, I don't want to say he deserved a championship, but it's like, I mean, good things happen to good people. Fred VanVleet had an amazing series. This guy was deadly from downtown. I mean, scored 12 points in the fourth quarter, Game 6, and another guy who was well deserving of a ring. I mean, think about it. Going undrafted, was in the G League a few years back, and then jumps into the rotation as like the 6th man or the 7th man, and said, I could do this. I could take up this. I could step up to the plate in these big moments. And he was hitting threes like it was nothing. Like this, nothing unfazed him. A cut to the eye, a broken tooth, nothing fazed this guy. It was ridiculous. He was a fighter, and it's good to see a guy like that also win a championship. Like you root for those guys who are like not just the superstars, but at the same time you're like rooting for those guys who work their ass off, and it's good to see, to be honest with you guys. I mean, there's a whole lot of other people on that team that deserve a championship. Serge Ibaka, of course, deserves a championship from time to time because of what he's done. It's just unfortunate because, you know, there's a lot of players on the Warriors team who I also feel like deserve a championship. I mean, Boogie Cousins also could have. You could have also said he deserved one. McKinney, I mean, possibly. I mean, he's gone through the same thing. Yeah, it's the way it goes, guys. Sometimes with these games, with these final situations, it's just the way it goes. Kyle Lowry, for example, another guy who stuck behind the Raptors for the longest time. They traded away his best friend. They got Kawhi Leonard, and he also gets a ring. I mean, he sat through it. He took it, and he's like, you know what? I want a ring. We got to win it. He got it. And good for him. Now, this is the tough part, guys. Where do the Warriors and the Raptors go from here? Because free agency is right around the corner, and it's gonna get pretty hairy, to be honest with you guys, because the free agent pool is pretty deep this year with like the likes of Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, Tobias Harris, Kemba Walker, just to name a few guys. Those guys are gonna be hitting free agency this year, and the way free agency falls can make or break the next season for both the Warriors and the Raptors. Think about it. If you're the Raptors, who are depending very heavily on Kawhi Leonard, you're going to do whatever you can to keep this guy around, which is to probably give him a Supermax deal and hope that he decides to stay there, because the rumors are lurking that, you know, he might be on his way to LA. The Clippers might be looking for a good player this summer and could potentially get 2 of them, and Kawhi Leonard could be one of them. So with the Raptors, if I feel like they can't secure Kawhi Leonard, it'll be pretty rough for them to moving forward to make it back there, but you know, hopefully for you guys it does happen. The same thing for the Warriors with Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant both hitting free agency. I mean, Kevin Durant still has a player option if he wants to stay for next year. He'd pretty much be getting paid $30 million next year not to play because he'll be recovering from the Achilles injury. Or he could test free agency, hit New York or LA or something and get another Supermax deal. That, honestly, I feel like he does deserve. He does deserve a Supermax, and if he wants to stay with the Warriors, I don't think he'll get the Supermax just because our budget's already stretched pretty thin. We already gave Steph a Supermax. Klay's going to be wanting a Supermax this year as well, which I honestly do think he deserves it. if you're telling me who deserves it more, one or the other, it's splitting hairs, guys. I mean, I'm wearing a Klay Thompson jersey myself. I mean, this guy is just one of those guys that grew up with the Warriors, and I grew up watching. But to say who deserves it more, I'm glad I'm not making those decisions, to be honest, because it's going to be pretty tough. Sean Livingston, of course, there's rumors speculating that he will be retiring. Those rumors came out during the middle of the playoffs. That this might be his last run. So who knows what happens with him, but he was a very great role player for us over the last couple of years. And if he does retire, then Sean Livingston, I thank you for being that role player and that mentor to Klay and Steph, being the utmost professional, coming into the Warriors, knowing you were going to be a role player, filling in for those starting positions when we actually needed you the most, and just being that consistency that we needed in a lineup with a veteran. And so thank you for that. Andre Iguodala, where does he go from here? He's looking for another deal to stay for another couple of years. Maybe he'll restructure his deal to, give us a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to signing more players. Or does he retire as well? And if he does, Iggy, you were a player that I hoped would come to the Warriors for the longest time. And I'm glad you did, because you made us better all around, and it showed very much throughout these last few years. But same thing, guys. The Warriors are going to be very stretched cap-wise when it comes to players, because if we do give out the Supermax deal and we do extend Durant, it's like we're going to have very little money to extend players, and we're going to have very little money to look for decent players when it comes to free agency this summer, because we're not going to be looking for the big guys. I mean, we want to re-sign Klay and KD, but when it comes to the little guys, the bench guys, when you don't have that much money to spend, you're going to be hoping for people to want to take less for them to come with you to win a championship. And the way our squad is looking right now, with two of our biggest players out possibly for the next season, it's going to be kind of hard to pitch to players like, hey, come play with us. I mean, we're a little short-handed at the moment, but you could do us some good. But we'll just see how that goes. With Toronto, it's the same thing. I mean, Marc Gasol, Kawhi Leonard, and I believe Kyle Lowry's looking for a new deal. But you guys have to find the perfect way to stretch your budget to make it fit your whole squad. I mean, look at Toronto. They relied heavily on a few guys off their bench because those guys were giving them consistent minutes and consistent points. And that's what the Warriors need to find for next year, because you never know. I honestly don't think, if free agency does not go well for either of these teams, of course, they're not going to make it back next year. Especially because the Warriors need to find somebody to fill Kevin Durant's and Klay Thompson's shoes. So it's going to be rough. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Chase Center is going to have a very rough opening for that first couple months of the season, to be honest, because it's going to look kind of sketchy not having a full rotation. But free agency is upon us. But that's a different video for a different day. So yeah, guys, I mean, let me know what you guys think of the series. What did you guys... So yeah, guys, you guys let me know. What did you guys think of the series? Did you guys think the right team won? Did you think it was evenly matched? Or do you think it could have gone completely different and both teams were completely healthy? Unfortunately, those are questions that are just going to be what ifs for the rest of the ever, pretty much, because, I mean, we can't replay this NBA championship unless it happens next year. Who knows? But thank you guys again for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, share the video. Again, let me know down below who you think will make it to next year's finals. Where does Kawhi Leonard end up? Where does KD end up? I mean, let me know in the comments down below, guys. And until the next video, which hopefully will be soon, I'm the Concerned Sports Fan, and I'm going to be trying out this new tagline. So just be good to each other, guys, and I'm out.